Hello, welcome to this lecture. Today we will continue talking about the planning for putting or developing the medical omnichannel strategy. Let's start with the channel inventory. So, what is a channel inventory and why we need to do it? The channel inventory refers to the list of all available channels, both digital and traditional, through which medical affairs can engage with different stakeholders. This includes everything from academic journals and conferences to social media platforms and webinars, if you are using any. It needs to be revisited and updated regularly to adapt to changing stakeholder needs, technical advancements, and organizational objectives. By maintaining a robust channel inventory, medical affairs professionals can make informed decisions that contribute to a more effective and impactful omnichannel strategy. Why it is important? One, for strategic alignment. Knowing your channels helps in aligning them with the overall objectives. Resource allocation, stakeholder engagement. And when it comes to stakeholder engagement, it is known that a well maintained inventory allows for targeted and meaningful interactions with various stakeholders according to their preferences, including key opinion leaders, healthcare providers, and patients. There are steps to create a channel inventory. First, identification. You need to list all the channels currently in use and potential ones that could be adopted. You need to evaluate these channels, assess the effectiveness of each channel, consider metrics like the reach, engagement, probably the return of investment on your department, because investing in such channels may be costly, especially in the beginning of the phases or the phases in the beginning of the exercise. Prioritizing. After evaluation of the channels, you will need to do some prioritization based on the evaluation of the prioritized channels. This align best with your objectives. Optimization. Look for ways to improve each channel's performance, whether it's through better content, timing, stakeholder targeting, and then document this. Keep a detailed record of this inventory for future reference and strategy adjustments. There are key considerations when we discuss the channel inventory. First, regulatory and compliance. Ensure that the channels meet all regulatory requirements. And for example, don't include in your inventory channels that cannot be allowed or cannot be approved in your organization or by local regulations. Especially, this is very important when dealing with sensitive medical information. Also, you need to consider technology integration. Check if the channels can be integrated into your existing technology stack for seamless data flow. In other words, don't select the channels and invest in channels that will be difficult to use and get integrated with other channels that you are used to work with. Also, you have to consider the cost benefit analysis, weighing the cost of maintaining the channels and updating them is also a very important point to consider. Here you can see the steps to create an inventory. Let's see them or say them again. Identification of the channels, evaluation of these channels, and according to this evaluation, you will do the prioritization and then optimization, and finally documentation and keep a detailed record of this inventory. So this is a must-do step in order to have clear picture from the very beginning on the channels that you will utilize today and what will come later on. Now, let's introduce a new topic, and it is the role of user experience design. So, what is user experience design? User experience design, often abbreviated as UX design, is the process of creating products or services that provide meaningful and relevant experience to users. This involves the design of the entire process of acquiring and integrating the product, including aspects of branding, design, usability, and function. But in medical affairs, the story is different. The UX design is important in medical affairs because it plays an important role in shaping how healthcare providers, patients, and other stakeholders interact with various platforms and services. So, as medical team, what's important for us to know about what is called the user experience design is that it plays an important role in shaping how healthcare providers or our stakeholders in general interact with different platforms and services. The user experience design has five components. First, usability, which means the ease with which users can navigate and achieve their goals. For example, a medical database should allow healthcare providers to easily search for it and access relevant research papers. But a difficult to use platform will definitely not be user friendly. So usability is the very important component. The second component of the user experience design is accessibility, ensuring that the product is accessible to as many people as possible, including those with disabilities, those who are in remote areas, with different internet connections, and so on. This could mean providing voice command features, for example, for those with disabilities who cannot use mouse or keyboard. Okay, so to that extent, you need to think to if especially if you are doing this at a regional scale or at sub-regional scale where the population of the healthcare professionals or your stakeholders is huge. Desirability, the emotional impact of the design, which can be influenced by different things, including the mood and other intangible elements. For instance, a patient portal that looks modern and welcoming may encourage more users, and the opposite is valid as well. The value, the product must meet or the service must meet or exceed the user's need and expectations. In a medical context, this could mean providing accurate and up to date information that the healthcare provider can rely on for patient care. Finally, credibility. The design of the service or the platform should instill trust and confidence. This is especially crucial in healthcare, where the stakes are high and the misinformation can have very bad consequences. So, here I would like to focus on what we need to know as medical affairs. What we need to know is that having a user experience design is important to consider when we do segmentation, when we want to understand the needs and preferences of our stakeholders. It has five components: usability, accessibility, desirability, value, and credibility. And we need to think of these items while drafting our medical omnichannel strategy. As you may have noticed, when we learn about the omni-channel strategies step by step, there are so many topics and the new terminology for us as medical affairs may be perceived as new or strange or difficult. But we have to be very clear. There are topics that good to know and other topics that we must learn and we must practice. including this one that we will start now, which is the content strategy. There is no successful, or actually, there is no omni-channel strategy that can be built without a robust content strategy. So, this topic we need to learn and we need to understand how to do it and what are the components of it. So, let's get started. As we all know, our role as medical affairs is focused on disseminating accurate, relevant, and timely scientific information. That's why a well crafted content strategy is very important to achieve this goal when we approach the omni-channel strategy. What we will do now is that we will explore different aspects and facets of the content strategy from a medical perspective. We will cover topics like content mapping, types of the content, content calendar, personalization, user segmentation, and dynamic content. So let's start with content mapping. Content mapping, and it's not as bad as you can see in this video, but content mapping is the process of planning the content journey for different stakeholders, such as healthcare professionals, patients, key opinion leaders. It involves one identifying needs. Understand what each stakeholder group needs at different stages of the journey. Two, content alignment. Align the content with the medical and scientific objectives of the organization and with other stakeholders, and we will come to this later. Customer journey. Map out the content according to the different phases of the customer journey from awareness to decision making. So, three important steps when we talk about content mapping: identify the needs, content alignment, and number three, customer journey. All the details are available in your module, and you can get more insights when you study from the module. Types of content. For us as medical affairs, once again, the types of the content, we can classify the content into educational articles for disseminating new research findings or treatment guidelines. We can have another category of webinars for in depth discussions or specific topics with key opinion leaders or healthcare providers. We can put another category as case studies, real world examples that provide valuable insights into treatment efficacy and patient outcomes. We can have a category of white papers where we discuss and share detailed reports that offer a deep dive into complex medical issues or difficult to treat cases and so on. So, once again, we can classify our content as medical affairs into different categories. We can classify as educational articles, webinars, case studies, white papers, and the limit is the sky. So there is no limit actually for adding categories and modifying this at later stage. So as we said, we keep monitoring and optimizing through the journey. Another important topic we need to discuss when we talk about content strategy is content calendar planning. Along with the content strategy must come a calendar planning about the content. So we need to develop a calendar that outlines what content will be published, when, and on what platforms. Alignment with marketing is very important at this stage. Ensure that the content calendar aligns with the marketing campaigns and product launches. Otherwise, we will be targeting completely different customer at different time with different messages. Flexibility. Leave room for unplanned but relevant content, such as breaking news, new studies, any updates in the medical field or the regulatory environment. So, this is very important. So, the content calendar must be there with the omni-channel strategy and with the content strategy. It should outline when you will share the content and on which platform, and it should be aligned with marketing. This is a very important and critical step to ensure success of the omnichannel strategy as a whole. And it should be flexible to leave room for yourself to update the strategy whenever there is an emerging article or a new study or any new update. Another important point when we talk about the content is the personalization. And by that time, we should have got a lot of information from the segmentation and from the needs analysis, and now we know the preference of our customers. So use the data analytics to understand what types of content resonate with different user segments or user groups, and then tailor the content. Create content that speaks directly to the individual needs and interests of your target audience. So we have to do this personalization exercise when we do the content strategy. And we have the data already from previous steps in the exercise when we started developing our strategy. So we will need to process the data and use data analytics, utilize your colleagues in different departments in the organization, and they will help to understand what types of content resonate with which type of customer. And then we use this analysis in order to tailor the content based on the customer preference. User segmentation demographics is another element of segmentation that will come along with the content strategy. It includes age, location, other demographic factors like can influence the content preference as well. So, user segmentation demographics may influence the content preference, and this is important to consider. We also can include behavioral data. Use analytics to understand the user behavior, such as what content they engage with most, and use your previous customer segmentation to classify the KOLs based on areas of expertise and influence level. So you see, the omni-channel approach is all about very accurate targeting. And if you go back to the definition, it is very well aligned with what we are saying now. So we are, in general, we are doing segmentation based on the preferences, and then we are filtering this down when it came to challenges. Sorry, when it came to channels, and now when it comes to the content, which channel is preferred? And we finished this exercise when we did the inventory, the channel inventory. Now, what type of content resonates more? And how this is influenced by different factors, including the segmentation demographics like age, location, and what we discussed. Also, the dynamic content and the real time updates is more concepts to introduce here. This is the content that changes based on real time data or user behavior. So it's an interactive approach or interactive type of content. It can change and update itself and give different responses based on the reaction of the recipient. We can also, in the content strategy, introduce quizzes, polls, interactive infographics that engage the user and also collect more data. And at later stage in this course or in some future lectures, we can talk about the Internet of Things, that you collect data from different resources, and you use the internet to transfer all the information into a central location where you can get unlimited amount of insights that are important for everyone in the organization. So let me summarize the message here. when we talk about content strategy, the most important element, I think, is the calendar, the what content will be launched when and on which platform. And this content calendar must be aligned with cross-functional teams and specifically with marketing team who are also targeting the same customer. We need to do some additional exercises when it comes to refining the content and matching them with the needs and preferences of our customers. This time the exercises here to customize the content will be easier because we already have pool of data from previous steps, and we can use the data analytics in order to further get refined data about the customer preferences. Another important topic we need to think of when we approach omni-channel strategy in medical affairs is the fact that we need technology platforms and tools in order to process the omni-channel strategy and get data out of it and measure it and optimize it. So we need to have some sort of technology platform or tools in order to collect the data and see the performance and evaluate the metrics accordingly. This can include analytic tools like the data analysis, which uses the analytic tools to gather insights from the data collected. Predictive analytics, we can use here machine learning algorithms to predict future trends or stakeholder behavior. Also, the real time reporting, get real-time updates on various metrics to make informed decision about the progression of the strategy. Okay, so these tools are very very important, and also it depends on the scope of the strategy. Are you doing the strategy for one product or one service, or are you doing it for a country or a region? It depends, but you need to consider what platforms and tools you will use. When it comes to the key performance indicators, which is probably one of the most attractive areas when we talk about omni-channel strategies, you need to know the engagement rates. You need to know how many customers are engaging really with your platforms. You need to decide on or know the conversion rates, which is tracking how many stakeholders take the desired action after interacting with your content. In medical affairs, this would be like if someone from your stakeholders read an article and he followed this with an action, like calling you, asking for more data, or attending another webinar or a session to elaborate or to get his information and to get the needed or more updates and so on. So conversion rate and also the customer lifetime value, if this is applicable for medical, to calculate the long-term value of each stakeholder to the organization. I think that we can measure it in medical affairs by the collaborative approach with stakeholders. If they are contributing to educational sessions by organization, like speakers or consultants or advisors in certain advisory boards, for example. But this data is all important to evaluate the effectiveness of your omni channel and see in terms of return of investment, are you getting the expected outcome from this investment? As we mentioned in the beginning, the omni-channel strategy needs funding and needs resources. And then for us, we don't measure or get measured by revenue. So you need to see to create the value, and the metrics are the very good tool to indicate the value generated out of this strategy or any other strategy. You have to use dashboards. Dashboards with customized views can create a lot of information for you, and the real-time responses can be captured on this dashboard. So customized views, real-time updates, data visualization that can help you interpret the results of your campaign utilizing omni-channel strategy. This is very important, especially if it is your first time to apply the strategy and you are almost testing everything, testing the channels, testing the content, testing the responses of the customer. So you need, when you do omni-channel strategy and when you are asked to do one, you need to consider what platforms and technology you will use. And here we come to the end of this session. Thank you for your time. I know it was condensed session with a lot of topics, and even more information is available in your module. So please try to read this section in your module as soon as possible to retain the knowledge. And see you soon. Thank you.